So we knew it was only a matter of time, but Miles Sanders is gone. He is headed to Carolina to reunite with Deuce Staley. Now, here's the question. Is the Eagles' running back room better than it was a year ago?
Dallas still stinks.
Yo, by the way, King Dingbat here, and so Miles Sanders is gone. Miles is gone. He signs with the Carolina Panthers, and I gotta tell you, there's a little hole in my heart that hurts. It's pumping a little bit of sad, bloody juices today because I like Miles Sanders. I was always happy when we drafted him, and I'm actually going to miss him, but he goes to the Carolina Panthers, and the question I have is this, and we're going to talk about this. Is the Eagles' running back room better than it was a year ago? But before we get into all that, I got to say this. If you're new to the channel and you like the content, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the most censored, most throttled Eagles content creator in all of the internet. And if you've been subscribed for a while, just double check. Double moonwalk check. Make sure that you're still subscribed. We cover the Eagles every day, multiple times a day, all off season, through free agency, through the draft. It's going to be nuts. It's going to be nuts. And we're going to start by talking about Miles Sanders. According to Mike Garofalo, he says, Pound Panthers, not hashtag, but Pound Panthers have agreed to terms with former Eagles running back Miles Sanders. Miles signs a 4-year deal with the Carolina Panthers. He is now going to be reunited with one Deuce Staley, Frank Reich, and I gotta say this. Congratulations to Miles Sanders on getting a contract. You deserve it, man. I always was gonna like Miles. Miles to me is a very talented running back who does not have the wear and tear that a lot of other running backs have. Because he backed up Saquon Barkley in college, I don't think he got a lot of hits, a lot less than a lot of other players. I think Miles has a good 4 or 5 years in him. So Carolina, you got a good one. You got the first pick in the draft, and congratulations to the Carolina Panthers. Congratulations to Miles Sanders. I'm going to miss you. You know, Miles is one of those few guys, even though he didn't do it last year, but he's one of those few guys that can take a handoff and make it go 80 yards. He can break it at any time, at any point in the field. I don't feel like at times the Eagles used him right. I feel like we should have tried to use him more in the passing game. If you look his rookie year, he was very good in the passing game. And I also think that we took him out on third downs, which I really hated, okay? I thought we should have used him more on third downs. And it is one of those things. I feel like he was underutilized, especially with Nick Sirianni. I think Doug did probably used him more, but Nick only played him, Nick Sirianni only played him in half of his offensive plays in the 2 years while he was coach. Miles only got half of the offensive plays. I think Miles has got a lot left. Congratulations to Miles. But we knew the Eagles couldn't sign him. We knew that they weren't going to sign him because, after all, the Eagles, according to everybody, they don't value running backs. And there's a lot of truth to that, and they're correct. The Eagles don't want to pay a lot of money for running backs. Now, they've done it before. They did it with Shady McCoy before Kelly traded him, and they did it with Westbrook. So, the narrative is that Eagles will never pay a running back big money. I just think it really depends on who the running back is. And if you look at the way Nick Sirianni used Miles, those kind of things, they weren't going to keep him. Matter of fact, I have a little conspiracy theory about the running back position, the whole thing. Okay, and so I'm gonna bust it out here. Some of you guys have heard this. Some of you are gonna roll your eyes, all that stuff. Some of you guys are gonna say, I want to throw things at 500, but I'm gonna duck it like that because I'm fast. They call me Fat Flash. You see how fast I am? I just went downstairs and came up in a blink of an eye. But we're going to talk about this because I think, and this is just my feelings, I think there's a whole misconception and misjudgment about how the Eagles value running backs. There's a lot of it that's true, but I think there's certain things and certain aspects that are negotiable. We'll just say, okay. Before we do that, we got to get serious. We got to get serious. First thing we got to do. Now we're ready to go. All right, so the Eagles right now, and congratulations to Miles once again, but the Eagles have, 4 running backs on their roster, right? They have Kenneth Gainwell, Professor Kenneth Gainwell, Rashad Penny, Boston Scott, and Trey Sermon. All these guys combined, where did I see it? But all these combined salaries, all 3 of these guys, including Trey Sermon, comes up to $5 million total. They're only paying $5 million for 4 running backs. That is a great value. There's no question about it. Okay, that's a great value. And many people look at the running back room right now and they say the Eagles are done. They're done with their running backs. They're not going to do anything else with the running backs. I completely disagree. I think that the Eagles are actually changing the type of running backs that they used to use, and Sirianni wants a different kind of back. If you look at the backs that have come in under Nick Sirianni, Trey Sermon, 5'11", 215 pounds. Rashad Penny, 5'11", 220 pounds. Okay? They're bigger backs. They're a little more physical. And I think these are the kind of backs that the Eagles are going to start bringing in. Maybe you'll mix them with a speedy guy like Gainwell or Boston Scott. But I think the Eagles are changing course a little bit when it comes to running back. And I believe that the reason why they had no interest in signing Miles Sanders is because the amount of snaps that he's used and because of the type of his back that he is, they're looking for something else. I truly believe that. Okay, the Eagles have shown one thing about this offense, that when they need to adjust, they can do it. When the Eagles need to go to the run game, they can do it. Whether it's in the RPOs, whether it's lining Jalen Hurts under center, the Eagles have shown the ability to adjust. I think, and I honestly feel this way, if you look at the roster that they have at the running back spot right now, I do not believe they're done. I do not believe they're done at the running back position. And I think the most likely scenario, 90% chance, they will draft running backs. The question is going to be, when are they going to do it? Are they going to do it with late picks, unrestricted free agents, or are they going to do it a little higher? I am making the prediction. I am going on the record right now to say the Eagles will draft a running back within the first 3 rounds. I truly believe it. I do, because I think that the Eagles value running back a little more than people think. They just value running backs under rookie contracts. That's the key. They want a running back who is under a rookie contract. Now, if you're in a second round, I think it's 4 years. And if it's like later round, it's a little less than that. But the Eagles can get running backs cheap under rookie contracts. That's right up their alley. And most teams are almost the same way. Teams don't want to give running backs second contracts. This is why you have Barkley, he's franchised. Pollard, franchise. Josh Jacobs, franchise. For a position that everybody says is undervalued and not worth anything anymore, it's interesting that the most franchise tags go to that position. That's because they don't want to pay for a second contract, which takes me to the draft. Okay. The draft is an opportunity to get a running back cheap for multiple years. Now, how good do you want your running back to be coming out of the draft? That's a legitimate question. I believe the Eagles want a good running back. I believe that the Eagles don't want to get worse at the running back position. And it's fair to ask, Are the Eagles better now than they were with Miles Sanders? I would say no. I think they has taken a slight step back. Now, this is not to say I don't like Rashad Penny. I do. I like him. I think that when he is playing and he's on the field, he is good. He is good. The problem and my concern with him is his health. If you're going to complain about Miles and being banged up and never healthy, then we got to be worried about Penny too. He's also signed to a one-year deal. Boston Scott, he's signed to a one-year deal. Wood is Gainwell going into his third year. So your running back really isn't set. And I think Rashad Penny makes a lot more sense as a rotational backup running back or somebody to be a complement with somebody else. The question is who? That's the whole question. Howie Roseman said at the scouting combine, he said this. He said, if you do what the trends are in the NFL, if you follow the trends with the rest of the teams, then you're always going to be behind. It's better to be the trendsetters. Okay, and he was referring to not just doing what the narratives are in the NFL. And that could be from little things to big things. And we've seen him do that over the years, go against the grain. And the reason he does it is because there's opportunities. I'm going to give you an example. Back in the Andre Dillard draft, right? If you remember that draft, everybody said the Eagles were going to take 3 defensive players with their first 3 picks. It was going to be defense because this was supposed to be one of the deepest drafts in a long, long time, and you had nothing to worry about. The Eagles were taking 3 defensive players. But if you really think about it and you think about how Howie Roseman does things, you realize that he's not going to go do what everybody else is and rush to fight over these defensive players. He's going to look at the value at the offense and he's going to say, well, listen, all these guys are picking defense. Nobody's picking these offensive players. Why not take the best I can get at the positions? He took Andre Dillard, then he took Miles Sanders, and then he took J.J. Arcega, the umbrella man. Now, 2 of those picks, the umbrella man and Dillard, were not good picks. But it wasn't because the strategy was wrong. He was right in what he was doing. He just picked the wrong guys. Miles was a complete hit. Look how many years we had Miles for. So, when people tell me there's no chance the Eagles go running back early because that's not what teams do. That's not what the Eagles like to do or they would normally do. That's why I think there's a chance. That's why I think there's a chance, because nobody else is doing it.
So the Eagles
bring back. Sorry, the stupid thing is playing. You know, I also meant to say this early, but my last video with the Fletcher Cox signing, I don't know what it is. Sometimes YouTube, man, like it takes forever for the audio to catch up with the video, and it's been acting weird like that. On my end, when I check through my phone, my computer, I even checked on my PlayStation. Like, the audio and everything's fine and synced. So, I apologize to those who had to rewatch it, but I appreciate you guys watching. I know you don't want to watch me going... I know you don't want to see that, but that was like the last video. But I just wanted to apologize. Now, as I was saying, I believe that the reason why I give the Eagles, or one of the reasons why I give them a chance to take a running back early, is because that's the opposite of the trend that everybody goes in. It's the opposite of what the Eagles normally would do. But just think about how much sense it makes. If you're going to tell me that the Philadelphia Eagles offensive line is so good, they make an average running back good. Well, what do they make a great running back? What does a great line make a great running back or a really good running back? If they make an average running back, great. What do they make a great running back? So, can you imagine what a turnaround it would be if the Eagles were to go and, let's say, get Bijan Robinson with that second first-round pick by trading up and getting him? Could you imagine? It would be awesome. And here's the thing I want to think about. The Eagles have kind of started, like I said, to take backs 5'11", 215, 5'11", 220. Bijan Robinson's 6 foot, 220. So he might just fit in the mold that they want in terms of running backs. And he can catch, and he's a 3-down back. That would be a sneaky choice. It would go against the grain, which actually would fit Howie Roseman's strategy. See, everybody says that's not what the Eagles do. They don't do that. Teams don't do that anymore. They don't take running backs then. Yes, but Howie goes against the grain because there's value in doing what nobody else is doing. And then he's successful, then everybody copies, then you have to change it up. But if you got a Bijan Robinson in the first round, or in the second round you get Jamar Gibbs, right, or with your second first-round pick, and you tie these guys for 4 or 5 years, then you get the running backs exactly where you want them, under a rookie contract. That's what the Eagles want. They want to keep those running backs in rookie contracts. They might not give those guys a second contract, but for 4 or 5 years, they'll use the crap out of them. The reason why Miles Sanders did not get a second contract, he did not fit what they were doing. That's why they only played him in half of the offensive snaps. If Shady McCoy was in his prime on the Eagles right now, I don't think that the Eagles would have let him walk. Same with Brian Westbrook. It depends on the back and how they fit, just as much as what the narrative of what everybody tells us. Forget what the narrative is.
Fletcher Cox.
Shut up. Shut up, Philly. Forget what the narrative is. Where does the value lie? That's the question, and that's where I believe Howie Roseman goes. With that said, take care. I should say this. So what am I saying at the end of the day? I am saying the Eagles are going to land a running back within the first 3 rounds. My first choice, of course, would be Bijan Robinson, followed by Gibbs. But it doesn't have to either be those 2 guys. But I do think the Eagles are going to take a running back by the 3rd. And if you disagree with me and I'm wrong, I will eat crow. But for me, all I got to say is draft 5. With that said, take care. Talk to you later, of course. Don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's Howie Vision. We're all just living in it. So, as I'm doing this video talking about Miles, of course, I'm thinking about CJ Gardner-Johnson. We're still waiting to see where he's going to end up. But, Miles did post a little something I had to talk about because it touched my heart. I'm a little sad that Miles is going today. He said this, to the city of Philly, thank you from the bottom of my heart, Miles Sanders. Miles, good luck, buddy. We're going to miss you. Peace. Love ya. Denzel Washington out.